Welcome back to Have More Babies. Today we're diving into something really crucial for working parents here in Georgia. You know that moment when your kid gets sick or hurt, and it's after the pediatrician's office is closed?
Exactly. It's a common stressor. We've been looking into this particularly through the lens of Omega Pediatrics in Roswell and Marietta, trying to figure out how families navigate getting medical care outside those standard 9 to 5 hours.
It's such a juggling act, isn't it? Balancing work, family, and then boom, a sick child at 7 p.m.
Right. Or on a Saturday morning.
So today, our goal is really to unpack what after-hours pediatric care actually means and how it can be a real lifeline, offering accessible, appropriate care for busy Georgia families.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so first things first. When we say after-hours pediatrics, what are we actually talking about?
Well, essentially, it's about providing care for kids' urgent health issues, things that pop up unexpectedly during evenings, weekends, maybe holidays. The key thing, though, is that it's for urgent needs, not severe life-threatening emergencies. That's still ER territory.
Right, that's a super important distinction. Urgent versus emergency.
Definitely. It fills that gap when something needs attention pretty quickly, but maybe doesn't warrant a full ER visit.
Could you give an example? Like, when would you choose an after-hours clinic over the ER?
Sure. So let's say your child has a high fever that's worrying you. An after-hours clinic is a great option. But if that high fever comes with, say, serious trouble breathing, or they're extremely lethargic, or having chest pain, that's when you head straight to the emergency room.
Okay.
Or a minor cut that might need a stitch or two, after hours can likely handle that. But a really deep cut that won't stop bleeding, that needs the ER's resources, it's about the severity and immediate risk.
That makes sense. It's
Yeah.
about judging that immediate risk level.
Hmm.
So why is having these options so vital, especially for working parents?
Well, think about typical pediatrician hours. They often overlap directly with the standard workday, right? For parents who work, taking time off, especially unexpectedly, can be really difficult. Logistically, financially.
Yeah, getting away from work isn't always easy.
Exactly. So after-hours care bridges that gap. We saw Omega Pediatrics, for instance, offers weekday hours until 9 p.m.
9 p.m. on a weekday. Wow.
Yeah, that kind of flexibility can be a total game changer. It removes a huge barrier for parents.
I can imagine. It must take a lot of stress off.
It really does. And there's a ripple effect, too. When accessible after-hours care exists, families are less likely to default to the ER for things like the flu or a minor sprain.
Which saves everyone time, probably money, and a lot of anxiety, I bet.
Precisely. Less time spent in a crowded ER waiting room with a miserable little one. That's a definite plus.
Absolutely. So what kinds of after-hours pediatric services are actually out there for parents in Georgia? What are the main options?
Okay, so there are a few main models you'll see. First, you have dedicated after-hour pediatric clinics. These places are specifically set up for kids' urgent, non-emergency needs outside regular hours. They're usually equipped for common illnesses, minor injuries. Really handy if you can't make a daytime appointment.
So focus just on kids, even later in the day.
Exactly. For parents who really value that pediatric specialization, these can be ideal. The staff is focused on children's health. Though sometimes, wait times might be a factor depending on how busy they are, perhaps more so than a general urgent care.
Okay, that's good to know. What else is available?
Then you've got your general urgent care facilities. They offer after-hours care too, but it's important to remember they treat everyone, adults and kids.
Right, not pediatric specific.
Correct. So the staff might not always have that deep, specialized pediatric training you'd find at a dedicated kids clinic. That's a key difference to consider.
Definitely something for parents to weigh. And what about virtual options? Telemedicine.
Ah, yes, telemedicine. It's really taken off, hasn't it? And it adds another layer of convenience. For certain things, maybe a mild rash, low fever, runny nose, a virtual visit can be super efficient. You get advice, maybe even treatment recommendations from a pediatrician right from home. It proved really valuable during the pandemic and continues to be a safe, accessible option.
Very convenient. Okay, so let's say a parent decides an after-hours pediatric clinic is the way to go. What should they expect when they get there?
Right. Practicalities. First, operating hours. They vary, but many have those extended weekday hours, plus weekend availability. But it's always best to check their website or call first, confirm their hours, and see if they take walk-ins or if you need an appointment.
Good advice. Do your homework first. What about information? What should parents be ready to tell the doctor?
It's pretty similar to a regular visit. Be ready to clearly state why you're there. Give details on the symptoms: fever, cough, vomiting, whatever it is. When did it start? Has it changed? Also, Mention anything you've already tried at home, any medications given, and definitely list any allergies your child has, plus important bits of their medical history.
So having that info ready helps the pediatrician make a quicker, better assessment.
Exactly. The more info they have, the better.
Makes sense. Now, what kinds of things can these clinics actually treat? What are some common examples?
They cover a pretty wide range of common childhood issues. Think colds, flu, ear infections, strep throat, pink eye. Also, minor injuries like cuts that might need cleaning or a few stitches, sprains, maybe simple fractures, things that need attention but aren't life-threatening.
And so they don't just diagnose, they can actually provide treatments right there.
Oh, yes, definitely. They can do quite a bit. They might apply casts or splints for minor fractures, run rapid strep tests, remove splinters, give stitches for smaller cuts, treat minor burns or bites. They have the tools and know-how for many urgent but not emergency situations.
It's good to know that they offer actual procedures too.
Yeah.
So with these different options potentially available, how should parents choose the right clinic for their family?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? There are several things to weigh up. Convenience is huge.
Yeah.
How close is it? Are the hours genuinely helpful for your schedule? Is it easy to get to? Can you call them easily?
The practical stuff really matters when you're stressed and have a sick kid. What else?
Quality of care, obviously. What services do they offer? Does it feel like a place that meets your standards for medical care? And critically, how are the staff with kids? Is it a child-friendly place? That can make a world of difference.
Oh, absolutely. A calm, friendly environment helps everyone. What about the staff's credentials?
Good point. It's worth asking about pediatric certifications. Are the doctors board certified in pediatrics? Is the nursing staff trained for kids? Also, think about time efficiency. What are the typical wait times like? You don't want to be waiting forever if you can avoid it.
Right.
And back to the kid-friendly aspect, does the waiting room feel welcoming? Maybe some toys or books. Little things matter.
They really do. What about the cost side of things? Insurance.
Yes, crucial. How do the costs compare to, say, an ER visit for the same issue? It's usually less, but good to check. And the big one, do they take your insurance? Omega Pediatrics, for example, lists quite a few. They accept Aetna, CVS Health, Blue Cross Blue Shield GA, Cigna, Humana, Peach Care for Kids, Peach State, TRICARE, United Healthcare, lots of major ones. But you absolutely need to verify your specific plan is accepted before you go.
That's really helpful info on the insurance front. Anything else parents might overlook when choosing?
Maybe think about the technology and equipment. Do they have kid-sized equipment, the right tools for common pediatric diagnoses? And sort of a bigger picture thing, does the clinic seem up to date? Are they keeping pace with modern pediatric care?
Okay, lots to consider there. So bringing it back to Omega Pediatrics, it sounds like they're really trying to position themselves as that solution for working parents in places like Roswell, Alpharetta, and Milton.
That certainly seems to be their focus. Highlighting those extended weekday hours until 9 p.m. really speaks to the needs of working families. They present themselves as an accessible, reliable option for quality pediatric care when the regular doctor's office is closed in those specific communities.
Okay, so for anyone listening, particularly if you're a working parent in the Roswell, Alpharetta, or Milton area of Georgia, what's the next step?
The best thing to do is check out their website. It's omegapediatrics.com. You'll find loads more detail, their specific services, info about their doctors, that full insurance list, and just get a better feel for how they operate and how they might help your family.
Right. So visit omegapediatrics.com. Having that reliable after-hours option can just lift such a weight off parents' shoulders. It means convenience, maybe avoiding those long, stressful ER waits for things that aren't emergencies, and getting care specifically tailored for kids when you need it.
Definitely. Remember to think about all those factors we discussed: convenience, quality, cost, kid-friendliness when you're evaluating any after-hours provider.
And the main takeaway, if you're in their service area, definitely go to omegapediatrics.com to learn more.
Explore the site, see what they offer.
And hey, if you found this deep dive useful, please give the video a like. Make sure you subscribe to our channel too for more discussions aimed at helping parents.
And share this with other parents you know. This info could really help someone out.
Absolutely.
It's worth pausing to think about how having that dependable after-hours care really contributes to your peace of mind and maybe even helps smooth out that tricky work-life balance just a little bit.
That's a great final thought. Knowing you have a reliable place to turn can make a huge difference. Thanks so much for joining us for this. Have More Babies Deep Dive.
Goodbye for now.